is a cannibalism spirit coming after you? Before we consider that question, let's define human cannibalism and the part it has played in human civilization. Simply put, cannibalism is consuming the flesh of one's own species, such as humans eating human flesh, body parts, or bones. Almost every society on earth considers the practice to be repugnant and barbaric. But cannibalism has occurred throughout history for survival, religious rituals, and as a means of terror in warfare. And in the case of survival, people have turned to cannibalism as a means of staying alive when faced with things like famine and shipwrecks. Do demons attach to acts of cannibalism? And more importantly, could you be stalked by a cannibal spirit? Hi, I'm Bob Larson. Millions around the world know me as the real exorcist. I've battled demons for 5 decades. I'm going to share with you what I've learned about how demons and the devil seek to kill, steal, and destroy. Please, every time you watch us, like and share. Liking assists us in our efforts to maintain a significant presence on YouTube, and sharing takes a message like this that's very unique and interesting and makes it available for other people. So be sure to like and share, and also subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will always know when the next interesting podcast is going to be coming your way. As we approach the end of the year, it's a time when it's really important for you to think about, have you given to the Lord what you should have shared in tithes and offerings throughout this year? And if not, great opportunity to catch up, because you see, a gift to support our ministry is income tax deductible. And if that gift is given before December 31, or at least on December 31, then you get the credit for it for the entire year, and that's a win-win for you. It's also a great asset to us to start off the new year in great shape from a financial standpoint, to continue to effectively expand this ministry and to make it available to more people in more places. So thank you so much for considering that special year-end gift. And of course, you can give by going to boblarson.org and clicking on donate, or by texting the word give to 833-361-4711. And thank you so much for your gifts, your tithes, your offerings that you share with love and concern to keep this ministry in a place to give hope to the hurting and set the captives free in the name of Jesus. I want you to be very careful about who watches this podcast. Portions of what you're going to hear and see contain very explicit information about human cannibalism, and it should not be heard or viewed by younger children. Please be advised. Cannibalism is not something that ancient tribes did to invoke the power of an enemy, a victim, or evil spirits. In fact, there's a very recent example of this. In spring of this year, A news story broke that a husband and wife in Russia had killed and eaten at least 30 people. They even had a recipe book based on how to consume human flesh. When police searched their apartment, they found several body parts as well as actual recipes on how to practice cannibalism. The husband, who was named Dmitry, went by the nickname, very fitting, the Devil. In one published photo, Dmitry wore a t-shirt with snakes and a hideous dragon. The husband also had himself photographed with a hammer and sickle, the symbols of communism. These cannibal crimes only came to light after this devil husband lost his cell phone, and it was discovered by a construction worker who looked at it and saw pictures of dead bodies. The devil man's wife, named Natalie, was a nurse with a very severe alcohol problem. Natalie was said to be a chef and cooked meat dishes for sale locally, and some now wonder what was in the food she sold. What was behind such insane evil? Only the most disingenuous person or a rank atheist would suggest that human sociopathy alone could be responsible for such crimes. And if you've ever wondered whether or not there is a real devil, this devil man in Russia gives clear proof. Cannibalism has a long history. In the 19th century, for example, a group of American pioneers known as the Donner Party were stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountains. They eventually resorted to cannibalism to survive after being trapped by a very heavy snowfall. But we usually think of cannibalism as a ritual practice. It's a way to appease evil spirits or a way to absorb the magical powers from human flesh used in remote tribal cultures. Sometimes it has been used to strike fear in times of war as a kind of ultimate intimidation of the enemy. The ancient Aztecs did this. They were especially known for ritual cannibalism. These kinds of deeds are recorded by the conquering conquistadors as they tried to bring Christianity into Mesoamerica. The islands of Fiji are today a tourist mecca. I've been to Fiji, and it's kind of interesting that this is one of the rare places on earth where firewalking is openly practiced as a religious ritual. In this case, I've seen it done by the Indians who are Hindus, but also by the native Fijians. In fact, one firework that I saw was sponsored by a local church. It was a tourist thing. Well, back in the 19th century, the Fijian Islands were known as the Cannibal Islands. The indigenous peoples of the Fijian Islands used cannibalism in war and for striking fear into the heart of enemies. But the cannibalism that we're going to talk about has nothing to do with any of this or Jeffrey Dahmer. My focus is on spiritual cannibalism, and I want to give you an example of an encounter with a cannibal spirit. I was doing a virtual encounter, as I do all day long every day, in this case with a very handsome, bright young man. But he was spiritually troubled by demons. And he heard about our ministry and watched me on social media and YouTube. And so he scheduled this virtual encounter for me to minister to him. And as I began to ask him questions about his background, his family, and so on, I uncovered various kinds of evil in the family bloodline that could have been the source of his problem. This included pornography, obsession with sexual sins, and other moral issues. Eventually came time for ministry. And this young man, who had never been through a deliverance process before, manifested demons very, very quickly. And an evil look came across his face, which is very different from who he was. As I pushed and probed to find out who this demon was and what was going on, I asked the demon's name, which is always part of the process of a good deliverance ministry. And the demon looked at me and said, "I am a cannibal demon." But this demon wasn't a demon that ate flesh. This young man wasn't involved in that. The demon was there to cannibalize or to consume this young man's life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. What the demon said was, "I am the spirit of cannibal. I'm a spirit of destruction." Exactly what is the nature of a cannibal demon? Let's talk for a moment about the identities that demons assume. They are not arbitrary. Neither are their names. That's why it's important to get the name of a demon. In human realm, names are chosen for very distinct reasons. There could be a generational significance, such as a beloved parent or grandparent whose name is passed on. A name may indicate succession, like in a certain name and then junior or senior and so on, or the first and the second, the third and so on. Or a name might be picked for its sound or historical meaning, and that was especially true in Bible times. A name meant something. That's where we get the phrase, "live up to your name." Because if a name is significant, historically, it's important to carry on that tradition. By saying live up to your name, we mean there is a standard of some kind. It needs recognized, some quality embodied by the name, like a Kennedy, a Rockefeller, a Trump. In the spiritual world, evil demons take on a name describing their function. Or a superior evil being over them has designated the name according to what a demon does. Occasionally, a demon assumes a historical name, because the name is a description of the actions and the behavior of the demon, like a demon named Judas, a betraying demon, or Cain, a murderous demon. Usually, though, a demon's name describes their function, the nature of its evil: hate, bitterness, abandonment, rejection. The demon can be named after what he does. For example, murder. So this brings us to the demon we're talking about, cannibal. Well, that name is obvious. A cannibal demon consumes its victims. It devours, it spiritually eats the essence of the host's identity. And the goal is total destruction of the victim's purpose. All the good the one possessed of a cannibal demon has done, or what good they might do, is devoured. The only thing left is the demon in its nature, a complete evil makeover. The target of a cannibal demon becomes some type of chatbot, to use a modern AI term, a functional identity with a soul crushed by evil. That's what happens when serial killers and career criminals take on a kind of cannibalistic nature. And to a lesser extent, it could happen to anyone. And if you don't get delivered from cannibalizing demons, you're going to be in trouble, because they want to destroy you. As a practical matter, how do you know if you or someone has been demonically cannibalized? The person who has been demonically cannibalized may look the same on the outside, but they're an empty soul. They're like a wrecked automobile that's been repaired with cannibalized parts. Things on the outside may look the same, but you open up the hood, you see that the engine and all that is there, all that makes it run, is a concoction of something else. The cannibalized person may function, but not with the same soulfulness as with the original condition. That person lives, but there's no real life. We might say of these people, they seem to be soulless. The light is gone from their eyes. The zest of living is absent. The body may look in working condition, and to further use my simile, there's no gas in the tank. The mind and emotions have been hijacked by an evil introject, a cannibal demon. In a certain sense, all demons are cannibals. An evil spirit can do nothing of tangible destruction unless it has a human vehicle. A demon can't pull the trigger on a gun to shoot someone. It needs the flesh and blood of a body with a trigger finger to act out demonic intent. A demon can't be Hitler. It needs a Hitler to espouse hate and genocidal intent and then to enter into that person. As with a cannibal, whereby the flesh of the victim becomes the flesh of the cannibal, so it is with a demon inside a soul. In a certain sense, the goal of every demon is to cannibalize, to consume the thoughts and emotions of the host to such an extent that the real person's identity is devoured and muted. They may not become a total zombie, but they certainly lack the original powers of choice and action that they were born with. If we use the term cannibalize in reference to the process of taking parts from one machine like a vehicle and then using the parts to make or repair another, this gives us a word picture of what demonic cannibalism does. Taking a person, consuming them with the evil of the demon. In a spiritual sense, this is what demons do to their host. Now let's get personal. If you in any sense feel that your thoughts and emotions are being overtaken by something evil, do not wait until this process of demonic spiritual cannibalization has taken a greater toll on your life. First of all, if you're not a Christian, turn to Jesus now. And then if you are a Christian, you need to seek deliverance to avoid having a demon that's going to hijack your God-given true feelings and emotions and then cannibalize them with destruction, fear, lust, whatever the evil of that spirit is. This has been a very unique message that I've given you. But I believe that the way I presented it helps to describe the essence of an evil spirit. They want to cannibalize you. They want to destroy you. They want to devour you, to spiritually eat you until there is nothing left of you. Wherever you are in that spectrum, just at the beginning of that process or further down the process where it's very difficult for you you struggle to get your own thoughts, your own minds, your feelings, and your intentions. No one ever gets 100% control by a cannibal demon. God always leaves some percentage there for you to have the power of choice. No matter what you've done, God can forgive you. But what's important, I find this in ministering to people, is how far they've gone down that road to cannibalization, being taken over and devoured by an evil spirit. Best to get it in the beginning. So if you're a Christian, you have a sense that something is eating away at you. Something spiritually is trying to overtake you. It wants to devour your body with disease and infirmity. It wants to get inside your mind and torment you with thoughts, whether it's blasphemy or lust or self-destruction. It wants to cannibalize. It wants to take you over. When you begin to sense that, that's the time to reach out. And there are wonderful deliverance ministries all over the world. Many of them do a great job, but what is unique about the calling of this ministry and all of those who are part of the extension of this ministry, our associate ministers, the team members of our Do What Jesus Did, Deliverance teams all over the world, is that we are committed to a serious, methodical process of uncovering how you are being demonically cannibalized, and then determining what the demons are and how they got there, removing all of their rights and casting them out in the name of Jesus. That's what I do every day, all day long with people all over the world. You may be watching me somewhere outside the United States. In fact, more than half at times of the people who turn to me for help are from other countries. Reach out. That's the beauty of the internet. That's what's great about a Zoom encounter. For my ability to be able to look right at you and to get a spiritual sense of what's going on in your life. If this kind of a spirit of destruction has been slowly consuming you, let's put a stop to it right now. And if you've been watching your emails, you know that due to inflation, all the increased operational costs that we have, the donation that's suggested for a time of spiritual counsel is going to have to increase because all of our expenses are dramatically increasing. You know what it's like when you go to the grocery store. Well, we have an enormous amount of equipment. We have facilities. We have staff. It takes considerable infrastructure to be able to provide ministry opportunities. And so we need the support of friends who will stand with us, and we're going to have to increase the donation that takes care of our internal expenses to provide ministry opportunities, not just for me, but for associate ministers and for hundreds of our Deliverance team members all over the world. So thank you for understanding that and taking advantage right now before the first of the year to get your own personal virtual encounter. It is life-changing. The one thing that people say to me over and over again is that when they talk with me and when I debrief them, so to speak, spiritually about what's going on in their life to get to the root of that cannibal demon, they say to me over and over again, I've never in my entire life been through, in just a few minutes, such a deep probing of what's behind my problems. That's one of the anointings and spiritual gifts that we have, and we're here for you. So get in touch with us right away. Go to boblarson.org and seize your opportunity to get free. Also, for those of you who love and appreciate this ministry, I remind you, the end of the year is coming, a great time for that year-end gift, to bless this ministry, for us to be in a stronger position next year to do more than ever for Jesus, to help hurting souls, to help them get free, stay free, and live free.
Your financial support and prayers make it possible for us to bring hope for the hurting and freedom to those in spiritual bondage. For the latest information regarding ministry outreaches, go to boblarson.org or call 303-980-1511.